Hello. So last night I went to go see Curry Barker's new movie, Obsession, and I don't remember the last time I was that scared in a movie theater. I don't consider myself especially brave. I cover my eyes when there's a needle on screen when I'm watching The Pit, but I love that like squirmy feeling that you get in your stomach when you're really scared and you're laughing because you don't know what to do and you don't want to scream. And like I saw this movie last night and my shoulders still hurt because I was so tense for an hour and a half. It's our third sketch comedy turned horror director of the decade, and so there's something worth paying attention to here. Written, edited, and directed by Barker, this movie follows our main character Bear, who's in love with his childhood best friend, Nikki, who's also his co-worker. Call it obsession, call it love, call it limerence, call it whatever you want to call it. It's a crush. It's this idea of what their relationship could look like. Does he really know who she is? Does she really know who he is on any deeper level? Not really, but we've seen this before a million times. He's either, too nervous or too scared to tell her how he feels.
Nikki, wait, I was gonna ask you,
What?
I lost my train of thought.
I...
Good night. What else? Why?
But Bear's problems are solved, perhaps, when he finds himself in a New Age store and he buys a one-wish willow, which is like a novelty toy that promises to grant a wish. He just needs to open the box, snap the willow branch in half, and speak his wish out loud, and maybe it'll come true. So, instead of talking to her, he snaps the branch in half one night, saying,
I wish Nikki Freeman loved me more than anyone in the entire world.
Now, we've all seen movies. We've seen this before. From King Midas to Aladdin, we all know about Monkey's Paw and wishes that backfire, and how love earned over time is much more powerful and important than love just granted, right? It's a very well-worn and a very simple premise, but great horror often comes from really simple premises. And Barker's Obsession manages to be a lot smarter and a lot savvier than I expected. It's not just a cautionary tale of a movie, it's an exploration of honesty, of modern dating, of consent, and of everyone's favorite, vulnerability. Thankfully, this movie doesn't waste a lot of time looking into the mechanics of how the wish works and why. It's not really interested in that. What it is interested is exploring the theme, and this is just a great way to do so. I'm going to get into spoiler territory in a second here, but I just highly recommend you see this film, especially in a theater, especially in a packed theater where you can really scream. Incredible performances, so much fun, so much buzz, some real scares, and some real heartache. And like I said, a third in this really interesting line of sketch comedians turned horror movie directors. Directors who are really showing us how it's done. Guys, I think the movies are back. I've been having so much fun at the movies. I'm really happy. This is making me really, really happy. So once the wish has taken effect, we spend about an hour of the movie watching as Nikki battles herself. Her behavior becomes really erratic and unpredictable and scary because she's been effectively cosmically commanded to love this guy. Call it a curse if you want to. It's something beyond her control, right? And a part of her loves him. A part of her that is this curse part loves him and is fawning on him and worshiping him and screaming and crying and spiraling whenever he's not around. But the other part of her, the real part of her, is still in there. And that's where a lot of this horror comes from. We see glimpses of the real her as she's trying to regain control of her faculties, of her body, and you often see her kind of switching back between true Nikki and happy, accursed Nikki. And what is Bear doing during all of this time, during all of this torment for Nikki? Sort of nothing, and it's nothing in a way that is kind of uncomfortably believable, right? Because while there are terrifying moments with her, there are lovely moments too. Moments where if he didn't know better, it might feel like love. And when his friends insist that Nikki is acting strangely, he denies anything. And when Nikki starts screaming in a restaurant, for example, Bear does what he can to placate her, to calm her down, to avoid a scene. And it's really through his inaction, not his action, that a lot of the horror lurks. This all comes to a head in a crucial scene where Nikki, the true Nikki, wakes up in the middle of the night and, trigger warning, asks Bear to kill her. She's trapped within this curse, or perhaps beneath it, like in Get Out, in like the sunken place, and she sees no other path forward, no other option, and her desire to end things leads to a lot of really terrifying moments in the film of really graphic, gut-wrenching self-harm. It's hard to watch. I covered my eyes a lot. "What's so bad about being with me?" asks Bear, and his voice is shaking and his eyes are pointed down at the ground. And there's a long beat, and she says, "I've never been with you, Bear." It's awful. It's this moment of like, oh wow, yeah, it hasn't really been you all this time, has it? Because it's so deeply terrifying for Bear to be vulnerable, to risk rejection, to take this chance, that he's chosen to skip ahead to a relationship, to a love that he hasn't earned. And maybe they could have loved each other. There's an indication that maybe there could have been something there if they'd gone about it the right way. I think a lot of the tragedy of the film lies in the slow unraveling of that possibility. It's a reminder that there are no cheats, there are no shortcuts. Loving people and letting ourselves be loved is messy, and it's scary, and it's really uncomfortable. But trying to circumnavigate those experiences, those like messy parts of being a person, Bear destroys any chance that he had at finding real connection. It's true sabotage. And because this is a horror movie, lives are ruined and many people die as a consequence. Your mileage may vary on how much you sympathize with Bear and his choices. There are moments when I was really screaming at him to make the right choice or to make any choice. But smartly by Barker, that it's not really clear what his options even are. He's kind of paralyzed, but if he weren't, I don't even know what he would do. In a worse movie, I think he would either be much more evil or much better, but he really intelligently straddles this line where you're like, yeah, it's a little too real, it's a little too tough to look at. And we're left with this protagonist who is just as lost and scared and confused as so many of us are, and as so many of us would be in this situation. And my stomach like curled in on itself as I was forced to reckon with so many of my own past choices, my own relationships, my own mistakes. Because I remember these feelings. I know these feelings. I know feeling like I'd rather die than admit to a crush, or feeling like I'd rather deal with someone being monstrous than with rocking the boat. Like I'd rather be alone forever than risk rejection. It's really scary. It is. I have this distinct memory of being like at a slumber party as a teenager, and my friends were talking about two people in our grade who had started to date. And I could not figure out how on earth that happens. Like, does he tell his friend that he has a crush on her, and then she tells her friend that she has a crush on him, and then those friends talked and they told each other, and then they got like pushed together? Because in my brain, I couldn't understand how anyone could tell someone that they liked them without a guaranteed yes in their pocket. Without some sense of security, because it was just way too threatening. I kept thinking about an exchange of dialogue from Will and Sean in Good Will Hunting, when Will is telling Sean about why he hasn't asked Skylar out on another date.
It's different from most of the girls I've been with.
So call her up, Romeo.
Why? So I can realize she's not that smart, that she's boring? This girl's like perfect right now. I don't want to ruin that.
But I think that's a super philosophy, Will. That way you can go through your entire life without ever having to really know anybody.
It's so hard to let people be real, to let yourself be real. And towards the end of the film, Bear is faced with a decision. Things have escalated so much, and he learns that the wish cannot be changed, it cannot be withdrawn. The only way for him to free himself or to free Nikki is for one of them to die.
So she's just stuck like this forever?
Well, yeah, as long as you live.
As long as I live?
So he's trying to figure out what he can do. He's trying to figure out what his options are. He goes back to the store and he buys more of the One Wish willows in the hopes that he can undo something or fix something, but they are one wish. They are one wish per person. So when he tries to break a second one, it won't break because he's already had his wish. So So he goes to a friend's house and he's crying, covered in blood, so exhausted from the events of the movie, trying to get his friend to I wish that my friend Bear had never made a wish in the first place. The friend doesn't believe him. They start fighting. It's not good. And then the friend, as if to prove that this is all made up, breaks it and says, I wish for $1 billion. And you get this beautiful moment where they stare at each other in this sequence that is alternating between horror and comedy as fat stacks of money crash down from the ceiling. This is a moment where I'm like, I think I see some sketch comedy experience in this guy's background, because it is funny while being completely full of dread. So much of horror operates by the same rules as comedy. It's all about tension. It's all about building tension and releasing it intelligently. So, oh my gosh. Really? My neighbors are jackhammering today? So Bear has one willow left, one chance. He doesn't know where to go, and oh my god. So So Bear has one willow left. He has one chance, and he realizes... So Bear has one willow left. He has one chance, and he realizes, maybe I can ask Nikki. She loves me more than anything in the world, right? She would do this for me. She would, like... So Bear has one willow left. He has one chance. He has one opportunity to fix the mess that he's made, and he realizes, maybe I can ask Nikki. She loves me more than anything, right? Like, maybe she could do this for us. But she's too far gone. She's screaming and crying and wailing, and who knows where Nikki is at this point emotionally. And he can't really reason with her, and so he seems to come to the conclusion that there really is only one option. So he locks himself in the bathroom. She's pounding on the door, screaming, crying, throwing up. And he goes into the medicine cabinet and he gets some pills and he decides to overdose. And he takes the pills and then he tries to throw them back up. He's too scared. He can't. He's so young. He's so scared. He can't do it. It's just like too much. But however, before he can do so, and unbeknownst to him, the possessed Nikki is in the other room with the willow, which she takes and breaks and makes a wish, and the wish is for him to love her back. And so we watch as his expression softens, his whole demeanor changes, and he glides through back to her in the other room, both of them in this sort of now shared curse, and they're bloody and they're broken, and they embrace and they kiss, and they're sort of giddy with this like chaotic, demonic, mutual love. But it doesn't last long because the pills are in his system and foam is like spilling from his mouth as he collapses. He falls into her lap and he starts to pass away. She's wailing and sobbing and he's slipping away. And when he does pass away and it's finally over, we see this change come over Nikki. And it's such a credit to the actress here that this scene is as chilling as it is, because we watch as the real Nikki comes back into her body and there's this moment of shock. And then the crying starts again, but it's different this time. And it's filled with terror and like devastation and confusion and fear as she regains her body and her agency, trying to make sense of what she's been through and what lies ahead of her, which it isn't going to be pretty. And just like in Anora, we are left as an audience to watch as the credits start to roll over just the sound of her cries. You know, when I think back to this movie as a whole, which again I only saw last night, but I can't stop thinking about. There's one moment towards the beginning that really sticks in my mind, and it's when Bear and Nikki are in the car towards the beginning, before the wish, before any of the drama kicks in. They're just sort of quietly sitting in the car together, and she's talking about a novel that she's trying to write, and she says that she really wants to feel love in order to write this book well. And he goes, love? you didn't tell me it was a romance. And she goes, it's not a romance, it's a love story. This movie is not a romance, but it is a love story. You know, I think the best distillation I have right now, however corny, is a real plea from this movie towards vulnerability. Maybe it's all the Matt Johnson and the like Elisa Lou video I've been watching lately, but I really can't seem to escape this pull towards like unabashed ambition and seemingly no concern of failure. More than that, it's not even a lack of concern over failure. It's sort of a sense that failure is like being welcomed with open arms, as long as it's earned through our best efforts. And that's something that Bear can't do and doesn't do in the film. He doesn't try and keep his arms open towards failure if that should happen after his best efforts. He can't do it. He can't do it. But love is no different from anything else. It operates by the same rules. It's all about trying your best, failing, getting back up, failing better next time. That's all what it always comes down to. And if you're in love, you're winning. I've spent a lot of time this spring banging the drum for Nirvana, the band, the show, the movie. But if that's the new best cult comedy movie, this is the new best cult horror. Beyond big scares, beyond how do they do that moments, this movie has something to say about relationships, about modern dating, about love, about the horrors of knowing and being known. Thankfully, I did not have any nightmares last night, but I have a feeling that this one is going to stick with me for days and weeks to come. And I don't know of a better compliment for a piece of art than that. Thank you so much for watching. This was really fun to make. Please subscribe and do all those things below. They do make a difference. I have something exciting that I'm cooking up right now. But yeah, thank you to all your support. Hope you guys are doing well. Please, like I said, go see this movie now while it's still in theaters, and try to go on a Friday or Saturday night, or just whatever gives you the best chance of a full theater, because comedy and horror, two genres that are close to my heart, are best seen with as many people as possible. Thank you so much. Have a great day. Bye.